does Black Lives Matter mean to you?
That's a hard question. How you gonna come out the gate with a question like, what does it mean to me?
I mean, I know it is an organization, but I think of it more as a movement.
Gaining justice for Black lives and to let the Black voices be heard and just equality.
Black Lives Matter movement is about creating visibility around the violence committed to Black bodies in America, particularly by the criminal justice system. In general, just how institutions create discrimination and violence.
And even though people consider the civil rights movement as like history or the past, there's still just so much ongoing like systemic racism that still like perseveres. And I think POC and like Black people specifically have led the Black Lives Matter movement as sort of a reaction to that.
Black Lives Matter is a way of collectively moving towards that goal of equality and making ourselves aware of racism.
It to me is a continuation of the Black freedom struggle and movement work that has happened as long as Black folks have been on this soil in this country. If I think about previous Black freedom movements, continues right as a stepping stone of pushing the movement and pushing the conversation forward. So now we're talking about intersectionality, gender, we're talking about race, we're talking about sexual orientation, disability, all the different ways that marginalized folks have to live kind of on the fringes of the society. And not only that, but BLM kind of really creates space for us to think even more expansively around what it means to be Black and for Black lives to be something that matter in this country. But more so than that, just what does it mean for Black folks to imagine spaces and create spaces for themselves that are free and freeing. So to me, it's this continuation and a rally cry, and also a remembrance of those who come before us as well. Some of these things are coming to pass.
What is the goal of BLM?
Their goal is to not have people on their TV see literal murder right now on the streets.
So I guess I would say that its aim is to end police brutality.
It's about creating visibility of the violent experiences many Black Americans go through, and then hoping that visibility will force particularly white Americans to acknowledge the privileges they have and using that privilege.
It's sort of highlighting the fact that like, you know, racism is still pervasive in our society.
When other people can call the cops and be protected, we would like some way to be protected as well.
I don't know, I think the language is hard for me. And I think of goal, I think of a sense of like finality. So once the goal is achieved, then you're now moving toward another goal. Black folks are aware that Black lives matter and that Black lives are important. The American dream was sold to us, right? As if this was something that was available to all folks, and we know that's not possible. And so I think what it's seeking to do is to make those rights a reality for folk. And I think that's more so than a goal. That's just going to be continuous ongoing work, right? I mean, we think about what happened in 1965. I think that was a goal for them, is to get that Civil Rights Act passed, right? But you get that Civil Rights Act passed, and what do you see continue to happen? Segregation ended, right? Schools was desegregated, but then you see the underfunding and under-resourced schools and in particular communities. And so I think I'm cautious of using the terminology goal and more so thinking about what it seeks and strives to move toward.